Thank you very much. A divinely blessed morning, honorable members of the Limpopo Provincial Legislature. Attached to the Committee on Transport and Community Safety for the 7th Administration. Support staff. The Department of Transport, including its entity, Gateway Airport Authority Limited. Blessed morning, led here by the Honorable MEC Manana Susan Violet Mathieu. Support staff of the department and the entity. A divinely blessed morning to all of you. Good morning, colleagues. Now it's a wonderful morning. I'm waiting for that greeting so I know we are in the same meeting. But before we could get to the business of the day, I have adequately stressed on the issue of decorum in the meetings. Those who are always in my meeting know and understand. I'm going to request MEC, I don't know if it's your team or it's the entity, the lady sitting at the end of the table kindly get something for the shoulders or excuse my meeting. No, but that you can do outside the meeting and come back. Thank you very much. A meeting of the Portfolio Committee is a sitting of the House, and the decorum must at all material times be adhered to. Thank you very much, colleagues. Welcome to this wonderful meeting of the first quarter, and I'm saying a wonderful meeting because of reasons known to me and members of the Portfolio Committee. Where's the agenda? Lady, to with the colleagues, did you share it with the department? It's also flagged there. Opening and welcome, attendance, introductions, confirmation of the agenda, and briefing by the Department of Transport and Community Safety on the 2025-26 first quarter report, followed by the 24-25 annual report. Then we'll then have a report by the entity, Gateway Airports Authority Limited, on the 25-26 first quarter report, 24-25 annual report, deliberations and discussions. Then that will bring us to the end of the meeting. Like we have said as a portfolio committee, when we interfaced with yourselves, MEC, for the very first meeting of the 7th administration, we put things in place. We had made mention to you that as a portfolio committee, our primary objective is to play an effective oversight, and that we have done adequately well. I don't know, but we are going to definitely do that because we know how far our work stretch is started at. And with that being said, we don't envisage today's meeting to be a tedious one for once, depending on whether Tate Machena, when he presents here, or the CEO, when they present, they come with a curveball that will really agitate members. So we are hoping when you are going to report to us, you'll report to us the true reflection of the reports you have given to us, and that will make sure that our meeting is both effective and effortless too. With that being said, could we go to item number 3 of introductions? I'll start on my right-hand side. Honorable Mangwana, please do introduce yourselves.
Good morning, Honourable Chair, Honourable MEC, all the department heads and everybody. My name is Andre Moss. I'm also a member of this committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My name is My name is Stephen Machena. I'm the head of the department, Transport and Community Safety. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, members of the
Good morning, Chairperson and members of the Portfolio Committee. Good morning to the MEC and the HOD and the CEO and all colleagues present. My name is Saloma Bilani. I'm the board member for GAAL.
Good morning, Chairperson, honorable members, honorable MEC. I'm Kawane Tinyiko, acting CFO of Transport and Community Safety. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, honorable members, honorable MEC, HOD, board members of GAAL, CEO, colleagues. My name is Jeffrey Kulwane, CFO of GAAL.
Good morning, Chairperson, honorable members, MEC, HOD, and colleagues from GAAL. My name is Manji. My name is Nhlanim Timkulu. I'm the Chief Director, Provincial Secretariat for Police Service, Department of Transport and Community Safety. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson and honorable members and MEC, HOD and colleagues. I am Lindy Wengwenya, working for the Department of Transport. I'm the Director Risk Management, Anti-Fraud and Corruption. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, honorable members, my MEC, HOD and CEO and colleagues. My name is Tsepora Mukhupa from GAAL. I'm the Senior Manager, Commercial Services.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson and members of the Portfolio Committee, our Honorable MEC, HOD and all colleagues. My name is Mpho Mudau, Director for Records and Facilities Management.
Good morning. I'm Khabasabola, Company Secretary for the entity GAAL. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sandra Ntuli, Communication Officer, Party Caucus.
Absheni, Imina Thabo Makhabani, working in the office of the MEC. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson, honorable members, honorable MEC. Administrative protocol as established. I answer by the name of Dali Shupiwa, Media Liaison Officer, Office of the MEC.
at least their whereabouts if you do know about that. But what I will also request is take 2 reports together. You start with 25, 26, then you go to the annual report. Don't bring it back, take it directly to the CEO, then you bring it back to us. But I will allow the MEC to make her own input before you give us the report. But let me see if you will take us through.
Thanks, Chairperson and members. With me, what I can say is to went through all this report, that what they in this report is what we know or what I know. And I think this time the department has confirmed well. As you can see, I'm not going to talk about the audit outcome, we all know. But I'm saying, even if we didn't get like a GAAL, but we are going there, I'm sure next time we'll be coming to say, we do have clean audit at GAAL, we do have clean audit at the Department of Transport and Police. But so far, we do what is happening.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Trudy?
Thank you, Chairperson. I will be taking the House through the 2 reports. I'll start with the one from information for the current year 526, and then I'll outline in terms of how we're going to present the report. We look at it, we will talk to the overview of performance, we will indicate where we did not perform well, and then we will go into individual performance, 1, 2, 4. We will touch a little bit on our departmental expenditure and just communicate how we're performing in terms of budget. Also, very importantly, we will wrap it up with the Qatar regulation. The slides that we're showing here, Chairperson, just shows us that the department in Qatar has performed in terms of achievement. We have achieved 83.3% in terms of the overall achievement percentage. This is culminated from achieving 20 targets out of 24, with 4 not achieved. And these are the challenges that we came across. Number 1 being the number of routes subsidized. You'd remember that we have issued or awarded new contracts to operators. GNT is still not giving us the number of buses that we need. It means there are routes that GNT is not able to subsidize. And in terms of plan intervention, we have engaged GNT quite a lot. They are bringing in buses on a phase approach. We are really pleased with that. And in other areas, we are also facilitating the contracting, subcontracting of some of their routes to other operators. They are improving. The picture is far much better than what we had last year. Then the second one be the number of speed operations conducted. We had a challenge where in most of our machines, speed machines are calibrated in the first quarter, and that is why we did not achieve the target. And in the main, as a planned intervention chairperson, we are procuring many more machines so that when we take some for calibration, we do not have a problem. Calibration is the process where they are being looked at by the manufacturer, and they are being recertified so that if a case of someone is taken to court, it can be supported by the calibration process. Number of vehicles stopped and checked. We did not achieve on this one, chairperson, mainly because when you look at quarter 1, we had challenges with having to refocus our traffic officers to other activities, more like your festive, the Moria, all of that. Number of road safety awareness interventions conducted. We had a challenge in November in that an official who was actually leading this illness, and that affected us. But we have since corrected the issue. Programs individually, I'll just scan through those. If you look at the report compiled on the implementation of HR plans, there was no issue there. Number of skills development programs implemented. which is 5 annually, and the annual target being 5, we don't have challenges. Percentage disclosure of financial interest, also we are at 100% this time around. Very importantly, the amount of revenue collected. In Q1, Chairperson, we had targeted to collect 188.9 million, and we had already collected 193.6 million with an over collection of 4.6 million. This is mainly because Blueback that was supposed to pay us in Q4, they paid us in first quarter, but it's not a huge amount that they paid us. In the main, the performance around revenue collection is just going well. Percentage of valid invoices paid within 30 days, we don't have a challenge here. We pay our invoices in 30 days. Number of ICT initiatives implemented, this will be looked at in the other quarters. There was no target for this quarter. Women in SMS represented, it's an annual one. Percentage of people with disabilities represented, also it's an annual target. Even the second one, where we are assessing the percentage of bids awarded to women-owned companies, is an annual target. Now, Program 2, transport operations, as I've indicated, the number of routes subsidized, we did not do well. The variance here is 199, where we could not subsidize these routes. I've indicated the issue around the phase-in approach, where we're trying to handhold some of our operators and assist these operators. Number of PRE hearings conducted, we don't have a challenge. Trips monitored, also we don't have a challenge there. The ITPs, we have 2 annually, and we're not reporting now because it's an annual target that we're going to deal with towards the end of the financial year. The third program on the road crash fatalities reduced. Our target is 5%, and we can only gauge this at the end of the financial year. Number of compliance inspection conducted, we don't have a problem. We had planned 150 and it was achieved. Number of speed operations conducted, we had planned 5980 and we did less, as I've indicated that most of our machines had gone for calibration, but we are catching up in Q2. Number of vehicles weighed, we have weighed more vehicles than usual. The target was 162,500 and we did 201,966. We have overperformed by 39,466. Mainly, this is controlled by the number of vehicles that we have on our roads, especially those that we need to weigh, the trucks. In the main, we scan and we see a challenge, we weigh. If we scan and we don't see a problem, we don't weigh. So it means we are coming across a lot of trucks with problems, and more importantly, it's overloading. Number of drunken driving operations conducted, we had planned 1,000 and that was achieved. Number of vehicles stopped and checked, we also had a challenge there of underachievement, mainly because the issue around low traffic and having to refocus our strength in terms of traffic officers to somewhere else. Number of pedestrians operations conducted, very important because we have a challenge with pedestrians that are killed on our roads, 375 out of 375. Number of road safety awareness interventions conducted, we have overachieved by 141. No, we've underachieved by 141, as I've indicated that our key officer in November had a problem, but we are catching up now. Number of schools involved in road safety education, we have overachieved by 44. It really shows that we are really trying to ensure that our road safety education is taken to schools. The last 2 are the annual targets on the formal trainings and informal trainings that are conducted at the college. Our last program being PSPS, just to indicate upfront that this program has actually achieved 100 out of 100. It's 100%, I mean to say, on the issue of the number of provincial evaluations conducted on SAPS programs, on the number of joint evaluations or assessment projects implemented, on the reports compiled on the National Monitoring Tool, number of research reports on policing and safety. All these four are going to be assessed at the end of the financial year. The number of reports compiled on audits conducted on functionality of victim-friendly rooms by SAPS, we have achieved there. Also, the number of monitoring reports on compliance and implementation of the DVA by SAPS, no issues we have achieved. Number of monitoring reports compiled on the implementation of IPID recommendations, this one was achieved. Number of monitoring reports compiled on the management of service delivery complaints received against SAPS per year, we have also achieved. On the court watch reports also, we have achieved. The CPF's assessment for functionality, 29 out of 29 was actually assessed. On the CSF forums assessed on functionality also 7 out of 7 were actually assessed. Number of capacity building sessions on these two community forums was also something that we are going to, annually we're saying 5, it was not a focus for Q1. Number of social crime prevention programs implemented, 5 annually, 1 was achieved in the quarter under review from the planned 1. Number of community mobilization awareness campaigns conducted, annually we are going for 125 in Q1 and it was achieved. On the schools involved in community safety education programs, 25 out of 25 with no issues. Now, Chair, let me take you through our departmental expenditure as at the 30th of June this financial year. Let me also indicate that this year the department is working on a budget of 3.024 billion, the fourth highest in the provincial administration. Our expenditure was 575.8 million, which is a 19%, and the projection was 23.7. The projection percentage was 23.7%, and you can see that in terms of the economic classification, we have indicated how we have fared. In terms of the programs also, we have indicated that we have fared. Program 1 would have spent 23.0%, transport operation 15%, transport regulation 22.2%, the last one PSPS 15.6%. But let me give the reasons in the main. The issue of the underspending was mainly coming from the salary adjustments for SMS that really came late in Q2. It was not done in Q1. The issue around procurement overall. When you look at Q1, that's where we do a lot of advertisements and evaluations and adjudications. Now, that is why the expenditure on goods and services was a bit low there. And then mainly those are the issues that really made us to underspend, but we are not too worried because Q2 now there's a lot of activities that talks to the consumption of the budget. And in terms of per program, I'm just going to scan through it where I'm indicating again that program 1, which is administration, had 627 million. They had actually already spent 144 million, which is 23%. And program 2 is actually allocated 1.3 million and 1.3 billion. 199.3 million has already been expended, which is 15%. In the main, more money sits here for the ITPs and many of our projects that we're busy trying to award now. We're expecting an increase in terms of the percentage on our spending. Program 3 was actually allocated 1 billion. 222 million is already expended for various activities. And program 4 was given 65.9 million. 10.3 million has already been expended, and this is now translated to 15.6%. And we had an issue with the delays with the implementation of EPWP stipends for Q1 because That's where we deal with the issue of approvals and all of that, and there were delays coming from provincial treasury in giving us the green light to deal with the issues of payments of EPWP. But we should be catching up as we proceed. I think in the main, this is what we have in terms of Q1, Chairperson. Just one last parting shot from me is that we normally have a separate slide that shows our revenue collection, but let me indicate that we have over-collected this financial year by 4.6 million, as I've indicated before. I'm going to jump straight to the next presentation, which is the annual report for 24-25. And the report takes the same form and shape in terms of how we're going to report. Chairperson, just to highlight that as at the end of the quarter, 24-25, the department, out of 47 targets, they've achieved 42, which is 89.6 percentage. 5 targets were not achieved, which is 10.4. And we had a challenge with the e-disclosure of financial interest, where 4 employees from at MMS level did not come through, but we've taken corrective action. Consequence management was meted to those individuals because we have actually done a few reminders to them. Percentage of women in SMS represented, only 1 position was advertised and filled at SMS level. And then we have since said in the new quarter, we are targeting more females at SMS level. We should be able to remediate on this one. Number of ICT initiatives implemented, we had missed on 1 target there because the scope of refreshing the ICT network infrastructure was increased due to the technological advancements. On the number of routes subsidized, also we had a challenge there where GNT could not operate, but we're saying we're going to leverage on the new contracts and we're seeing improvements already. Number of vehicles stopped and checked in Q4 of the previous financial year. That's January to March. We had a lot of rain, especially in February, and we could not do stops and checks because of the rain, and then that's where we missed out. These are just individual targets from individual programs. Number of skills developed, development programs implemented. On the annual the annual target was 5, and then we achieved 9 with extra with 4. And we've done extra because some of the programs were actually facilitated and funded by the Office of the Premier. Number of learnership programs, we had 1 which was achieved. E-disclosure of financial interest. In the form of achievements, 100% SMS was done, 97 on MMS. I've indicated that we had some that we could not come through at MMS level, and we've already taken actions. Annual amount of revenue collected, we had planned to collect 890 million, and we have collected 892 million. We had a surplus of 1.5 million. Mainly penalties paid for licensing of vehicles and sales of capital assets came through for us when we did the auctions. Percentage of valid invoice paid within 30 days, we did not have a problem there. On ICT, we missed out on 1, as I've indicated. Percentage of women in SMS represented in appointment, the annual target was 50. We did not achieve there, as I've indicated. Number of people with disabilities represented in appointments, the target was 2%, achievement was 6%, with a surplus of 4%. I think as a department, we had taken a resolve just to focus more on this and to earmark posts and label those posts at advertisement. That's how we managed to achieve on this one. And we are not going to be limited by the 2%. I think we'll still go beyond, as you may see with our recent advertisements. There are posts that are dedicated for persons with disability. percentage of bids awarded to women-owned companies, 40% of our bids were awarded to women. It means the target was 40, which was also achieved. Program 2, which is transport operations, we had a challenge of number of routes subsidized. We were supposed to have 689, and we achieved 688 with -1 there, owing to GNT's challenges as known. Number of PRE hearings conducted, we have done over by 3 because we had more applications that we received from Vembe district, leading to additional hearings. Number of subsidized trips monitored, we achieved those on the dot without challenges. Number of on the procurement of new subsidized network services, that was actually done. The procurement of new subsidized network services was concluded by end of March 2025. We had concluded that. On the ITPs, we had planned to have phase 1 of Mariling local municipality ITP completed, and that was done without a challenge. Now, jumping to program 3, road crash fatalities reduced. You'd remember that in Q1 I said this is an annual target, but because now we're reporting annually, the target was 5%, and we've achieved 9.6. It means we've got a positive of 4.6, and this is owed to the improved law enforcement and compliance by road users. Number of compliance inspection conducted, we have achieved 600 without a challenge. Number of speed operations conducted, we have overachieved by 166 because we have done more operations due to accident reports indicating that speed as a cause of increasing accidents. Normally we would analyze our reports and check the causes, and then we start to plan according to that. When we saw that speed is coming as an issue, we did more operations. That's why we have overachieved. Number of vehicles weighed, we have overachieved by 133,443. More vehicles were weighed because of the traffic volumes, but also because most trucks that are being subjected to the scanning are then sent through to weighing because of the issues that we pick up. Number of drunken driving operations conducted, we have overachieved by 331 because during the peak periods, we do a lot of drunk driving because we understand long weekends. That's where we move away from the main roads and go into municipal roads, target areas where there could be parties that may lead to drunk drivings that may then give us problems of serious crashes and fatalities. That's why we have more. The more long weekends we have, that's the more we're going to do more of these things, just to show to make sure we save the motorists. Number of vehicles stopped and checked, we have underachieved by 3431, mainly because Q4 gave us a problem because of unfavorable weather conditions. Number of pedestrians operations conducted, we have overachieved by 13. In the main, you look at our stats would normally indicate that more pedestrians were dying, and then we had to do more of this, especially in R71, nobody going to Moria. You look at R81, you look at R37. Now with the road improved, we have a challenge of speedsters that do not consider pedestrians that are crossing over through the villages there. So we have intensified on that. Number of road safety awareness interventions conducted, we have overachieved by 42 because we have done more awareness interventions in the transport month and back to school period. Number of schools involved in road safety education, we have also achieved here by 22 because we do have a more child and traffic programs conducted throughout the year. Number of community mobilization awareness campaigns conducted, we had planned 100 and it was achieved. Number of schools involved in community safety education programs, 100 was achieved without challenges. Formal and informal trainings, with the formal one, we had planned 9, we've achieved 11 with a surplus of 2. Informal trainings, 60 out of 60 without challenges. And our last program, these are the first 4 targets, would then those that I said were annual ones. Number of police stations monitored, 104. Heads of components, Sub-specialized units monitored, sub-district commissioners monitored. All of them achieved according to the targets that were planned. Number of customer satisfaction survey conducted, 104 was achieved. Number of reports compiled on police stations monitored based on the NMT, also that was achieved at 4. Number of domestic violence initiatives conducted, 5 out of 5 without challenges. On the DVA monitoring reports on compliance and implementation of the DVA by subs, 4 out of 4. On the number of monitoring reports compiled on the implementation of IPID recommendations, 4 out of 4 also, no issues. Number of monitoring reports compiled on the management of service delivery complaints received against subs, 4 out of 4. On the court watches assessments, we had planned and we achieved 4. On the CPFs and the CSFs, Chair, we had planned 110 and 27 respectively, and then those were all achieved. On the capacity building on those members of the CSF and the CPFs, also 5 out of 5 in terms of the planned and achieved. Number of social crime prevention programs implemented, 5 was achieved out of planned 5. Number of quarterly progress reports on the JCPS POA or program of action compiled, 4 reports were planned and 4 were achieved. It is 1 per quarter. And then from there, the reports are according to the program of action that would have been approved. Subs garages monitored just to ensure we have more vehicles on the road and not in the garages, 7 out of 7. Number of monitoring and evaluation special projects implemented, 1 was planned and it was achieved. Number of research projects on policing and safety implemented, 1 was planned and it was achieved. In terms of our departmental expenditure, this slide indicates the budget performance, Chair, that covers the whole year. Just to indicate that from an appropriation of 2.59 billion, we have actually spent 2.516, which is 97.1%. And then we're indicating that there were delays in filling of posts and also some of the invoices that were not paid at the end of 4th quarter because we needed to make sure that the material was, the goods were delivered and verified, and then the quarter ended. We did not want to rush and pay while we had not finalized the verification of some of the goods that we had ordered. One of the issues that made us to underspend was the delays in signing of this SLA that we had with the transaction advisor that was actually helping us with the new contracts, and also government printing not giving us outstanding invoice. We had challenges there. They were giving us services but not invoices, and then we had delays there. And in the main, the other issue was we had a lot of personnel that exited the system through death, some with resignations, and also we had ordered escort motor vehicles that came very late in the year, actually after the financial year had ended. And the delays of filling of vacant posts in PSPS also disabled us from spending the planned amount. In the main, we're just reflecting there why we did not spend 100%. Now, revenue collection, as I've indicated, as at the end of the financial year, from a planned, the main appropriation, the planned target of 890.6 million, the department had actually collected 892.229. This is viewed as 100.2% because we had over collected with 1.574 million. In the main, it's tax receipts, it's sales of goods and services other than those other capital assets, fines, penalties, and forfeits. That's where we got some of the money. sales of capital assets. That's where we also did the auction of our old vehicles and other equipment, and we made money out of that. In the main, this is the report, Chairperson, that we're presenting for the financial year 24-25. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairperson. We are going to start with a report on the annual report for 2024-2025, as it's set out in our presentation. I'm just waiting for the presentation to load. Thank you. Chairperson, in the previous financial year, we had 18 indicators, and sadly, we have only managed to achieve 4, and 14 we did not fully achieve them. And Chairperson, without even going into the details of line by line, I just wanted to indicate that of the 14 that we didn't achieve, none of them are related to supply chain challenges. And this then affected the fact that we were not able to implement revenue-related projects. We were not able to implement other projects in other departments, and we were not able to implement our maintenance plan. And I'm just talking about them in general without going through them line by line. But I'd like to give the committee confidence that we have dealt with the supply chain issues. The first thing is that the board has put a committee together that is looking at supply chain issues on a monthly basis. We have trained our committees so that we don't go through the challenges that we had in the previous financial year. We have taken disciplinary action, and we have just concluded a hearing. We are waiting for a sanction, and we have also interviewed another resource in the SCM department. And Chair, I've just put that as a summary so that I don't have to go through the items line by line that are related to supply chain. So with your permission, I will focus on program 2, where the issues were not related to SCM, and that is on page 8 of the presentation. In terms of the targets that we missed on business development, they were related to number of new routes introduced and number of new operators contracted. We had an annual target of 1 route and 1 operator, and we did not achieve those due to the fact that we were engaging airlines with regards to taking up the routes and contracting with us. Chair, we have gone to all 5 major airlines in South Africa, and they are currently still looking at the feasibility of taking up new routes in Polokwane. We have had a letter of intent from an airline called Fly Near, but since they've given us the letter, they have not taken up any route. We are continuing to engage, and we do believe that this is a target that we will eventually achieve. The other one that we did not achieve in business development is number of aircraft movement recorded. We targeted 4532. We achieved 3691, and we missed the target by 841. And this is due to the fact that there is a reduction of flights in the festive season, but also in the winter month when we had challenges with suspended procedures last year. There were a lot of flights that were then cancelled and suspended, and hence we have missed our target. The next target that we missed, which is on page 4, is the number of units leased as a percentage of the units that are available, which is the occupancy rate. We had targeted 54, we achieved 70. We have targeted 70, we achieved 54. And this one, Chair, we have had a lot of inquiries after advertising the units that we have. We have given out a lot of quotations. However, we still have challenge with tenants coming and committing to occupancy. A lot of it was related to the state that our properties were in, but a lot of work has also been, has commenced in terms of making sure that we get our rental space into a habitable state. The other two that we have missed in business development was the Erythropolis plan, which is the master plan. And this one was delayed because of the delay in appointment of the service provider by AXA through our MOU. However, that project has commenced and it is planned to still end at the end of September 2025. The one related to cargo, this project, there was no response to our advert. I'm glad to announce that we have re-advertised, we have evaluated, and we've got potential investors, and we had presentations last week, so we are hoping that we will then be able to close this target. In terms of operations, the targets that we missed was the number of months that we were able to maintain our Cat 7 license. We missed it by one, which was actually a spillover from the 2 financial years ago where we had challenges with trucks and we were downgraded, but the trucks were since repaired and they are back in operations and we don't have a challenge there anymore. The one related to maintenance I've already spoken about because of supply chain. The next one is the one on page 11, which is related to number of aerodrome units calibrated. We had planned to calibrate 13. We managed 10, and the 3 that we missed was also due to a supply chain, but the biggest one was due to our VOR, which is our navigator that's needed to be repaired, and you can't calibrate until the repair work has been completed. The last one is related to our perimeter intruder detection system installed. We planned 1. We did not achieve it because of the delays again in supply chain, but that project has commenced. The service provider is probably at about 80% completion, and it's targeted to be completed in October 2025. So this is our performance for 2024-2025. Chairperson, I must say from such non-achievements in the previous financial year, we had to sit and take some learnings in terms of where we went wrong. And we have taken those learnings into drafting our new APP. And from those learnings, we can then present that our achievement has improved quite a lot from about 30% to 92% in Q1. And in Q1, we had 12 indicators. We managed to achieve 11, and that is one indicator that we have missed in program 1. And if I just go to the indicator that we missed, this is an indicator that is related to amount of revenue collected. And I'll just go into the details per program. In terms of program 1, the amount of revenue collected, we had targeted to achieve 7.8 million, and we collected 5.2, and we missed our revenue by 2.6. And the contributors to us missing the revenue, the first one is related to our revenue projects that were delayed in the previous financial year, and we had anticipated to start collection in the new year. But I can give confidence to the committee that with regards to the advertising billboards, this has been advertised, evaluation has been completed, adjudication will sit on Monday on the 29th of September. And this adjudication will then deal with advertising and also with airport museum. With regards to aircraft simulators, we have already appointed, and the service provider is in the process of getting us the simulators. But we've been informed that they are coming from overseas, so we are expecting that we will have them by the first week of November. And then with regards to the aircraft restaurant, the advert has been out and we still need to evaluate. So our projection is that from the third quarter, we will then be able to start collecting revenue from these streams. The second one that affected us was, and by about almost 1 million, is the collection of the rent from the Blue Hanger, where we had some structural defects that we needed to deal with, and the repairs has also been completed. So from the 1st of October, Airlink will be paying rent again. In terms of the other indicators, the second one was CAPEX and asset maintenance amount spent. Our target was to spend 13.5 million. We have actually overspent by, we spent 14.1, and the reason we overspent is because of some of the payments and projects that we needed to catch up on that we missed in the previous financial year. Another target for Q1 in terms of administration was number of HR initiatives implemented. Our target was 1 and we achieved 1. In terms of commercial services, our targets for Q1 was number of units leased in terms of percentage of occupancy rate. Our target was 58% and we managed to achieve 58%, which is an increase of about 8% from the previous financial year. The other target was marketing initiatives conducted. Our target was 4, we achieved 7, and we have overachieved by 3. And what we're doing is we continue to collaborate with stakeholders and to also take opportunity on marketing initiatives that come up to make sure that we increase our brand awareness wherever there's an opportunity. In terms of program 3, which is our operations, our target was the maintenance of CAT 7 license. Our target is that all 3 months of the quarter we must have our license at CAT 7, and we managed to achieve that. The second one was infrastructure maintenance plan reviewed. Our target was 1, and there's a typo on our report because our achievement is also 1. We apologize for that typo, Chairperson. So we have also met that target. In terms of our maintenance plan being implemented, our target was 22 and our achievement is 22. And this one is as a cumulative target. So as the year goes, we will see this target percentage growing. In terms of number of quality assurance inspection conducted, these are the ones where we do our own inspections internally before a CAA comes. Our target was 2. We have actually conducted 4 of them and exceeded the target by 2. And we just did more inspection in preparation of the CAA audit in August 2025. And this is for our recertification. And I would like to just announce to the committee that we will be getting our certificate, and through the audits, we will be able to maintain our certificate for the next 12 months. And the last one was the number of mandatory and compliance training courses implemented. Our target was 3, and our achievement was also 3. In terms of our expenditures, we have achieved 95% in terms of our expenditure. And if we go through them per program, in administration, we had budgeted to spend 12 million, and we spent 15.8 million. And majority of what we were doing is to make sure that we catch up on in terms of what we missed last year. So in administration, this is related to our IT projects that were delayed from the previous financial year. In terms of business development, we budgeted 1.3, we spent 2.3, and this was related to AXA invoices that were delayed and were submitted late. And then in terms of operations, we had budgeted to spend 21 million, we spent 14.6. The projects have commenced, however, we had not paid invoices at this time because the projects were not completed, but majority of these projects have now been completed and will be reported in Q2. The next page just basically explains what I have explained, and I'll just skip it and go to the expenditure per classification. In terms of the classifications, COE, our budget was to spend 11.6 million. We underspent by 1.6, which is 14%. And the reason for the under expenditure was, firstly, we had positions that were approved late from Treasury. Initially they were declined and we had to go back to Treasury to re-motivate, and they were only approved, I think, in June. But those positions have been advertised and we are in the process of recruitment. We also have a bit of struggle in terms of filling positions in operations, where we've had interviews, but majority of our candidates are actually turning our offers down because of low salaries. With the board, we are working on a retention and attraction strategy, but we have also done job grading to make sure that we start looking at benchmarking and paying market-related salaries. And in terms of payment of capital goods, we had budgeted 13.4 million and our actual, 13.9 million. Our spend is 14.1, and this is related to catch up that we are doing from the previous financial year. Thank you so much, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Chair. I must commend the department for their clean audits. It is really nice to see it. I think if you take the overall picture, the department is actually in good hands. We are getting there. There's a lot of improvements in overall, and I'm very excited about the clean audits. I just wanted some clarifications on program 3, for example, on transport regulations, the number of drunken drivers operations conducted. We are overachieving there, but what does that mean? Can't we get a statistics that also show us how many arrests maybe was made? We're conducting the operation, but we don't know the success says clearly we went over the target of 331, but I just wanted to know if we can also get statistics that can say so many people were arrested or so many people were found guilty or whatever. Because if you do look at the N1 in the recent few months, it is a slaughterhouse. I'm not saying it's because of drunken driving, but it is because of recklessness, speed, overloading, and all that things that happened in the past few weeks on the N1, especially there at Eysterberg as well. I just wanted to also, for clarity, I did see that they, with revenue collected, he said it was Q4 people that didn't pay. It came over to Q1 with the over collection of revenue. Did those municipalities, Lepelale, Mogalakwena, that was always behind and didn't pay, did they eventually pay in the first quarter? Is that where the over collection came? And then on GAAL, I think the annual report, it is a gloomy picture. A lot of targets missed, only 4 targets achieved in the annual report 2024-2025. She did mention it is not related to supply chain, but mostly with revenue collected and marketing. But then in Q1, the targets were actually, it looks like it was reduced and more targets were met. I just wanted to know, with targets overachieved, CEO, like marketing, does it have any advantages? I mean, in the sense of, is there more interest if you over, or is it just a rubber stamp? We are doing a marketing initiative, we want to do our branding, or is there advantages that can be seen with more letters of intent, more interest from other stakeholders that wants to use GAAL as an airport? Thank you, Chair.
And also greetings to the MEC, the HOD and all officials. Ke thomela nna ka ho commenda what the department is busy doing. Kudu ke thoma ka the procurement ya the bus tse ke di boneng tša GNT. E tloga e bontšha kudu MEC gore ke nnete le a šoma. Gape ke le lebogiša gape le ka clean audit ye le humaneng. But ke na le few questions tše e leng gore ke nyaka go di botšiša. On the transport operations program, your first quarter report here, presented. Yeah, the purpose of the program is to plan, regulate and facilitate the provision of integrated transport services through coordination and cooperation with the national planning authorities, CBOs and NGOs, and also the private sector to enhance the mobility of all communities, particularly those currently without or limited access. The program has 3 indicators and 3 targets, and only 1 target was not met. The target not met was on the new subsidized bus contract, with the reason for the variance being that there will be a phased-in consistent with the provision of Schedule 16 of the negotiated subsidy contract. Can the department outline the details regarding the phased-in approach to the provision of Schedule 16 of the negotiated subsidy contract? Ke tsena gape mo the annual report. Can also the department brief the committee on the progress to date in signing the intergovernmental authorization agreement? Entity GAAL on the business development. Why has the entity removed its core function target of recording aircraft movement under the business development program? That is the first question to the entity. And also, who is responsible for maintaining aging infrastructure such as billboard refurbishment, because there is always under expenditure shortfall and a budget surrender? Ke tsona di question tše be ke na le tšona. Ke a leboga.
No, thanks, Chair. I don't have much question to ask to the department, because I've seen that there's improvement in most of the indicators. There's improvement in revenue collection that shows that they are working. I just want to check on something, because I see that on 25 and 26, there's road safety awareness that the target were not met, especially in November, because due to illness of some members. I think some of these targets that you're not meeting is because of some things that you can avoid, because you cannot say someone is not at work and then now people aren't going to work. I think you have to improve. It's not something serious. Also on the speed machine, because you know that this machine need to be serviced all the time. So you must also plan as to, so that you must not find yourself not meeting the target on the road. And then also on the women's and disability, I see that the target was 2%. I don't know why the target is always on 2%. I think you must increase, because there are a lot of women that need to be taken into consideration. So I think on the department, I want to say you have done good, and then when people are doing good, we need to appreciate their good work. When it's come to GAAL, you have not met the target as is expected, but I can see that there are some improvement compared to where you were previously. I think you need to pull your socks and make sure that we get to where we want to get. And then also, I see that the tenants are not coming to that space. I also believe that tenant cannot just come there when there's no traffic or when there's no influx of people. So we need also to come to board to make sure that that airport is improving. But I see that when checking previous report, they are in improvement on this regard. I think, Chair, I don't have much to say. I think is my comment on GAAL and the department. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson, and greetings once more, colleagues. I think it is becoming very much encouraging to be part of this entire collective, more especially when checking the progress reports as presented by colleagues from the department. Indeed, there are great strides that we have achieved so far. Maybe if one can start with the audit opinion, I just want to commend the department for the opinion as released by the Auditor General. And I believe there is a room for us to improve, to move from where we are to clean audit. Maybe one would like to check with the department the plans that are there for the department to can maintain the clean audit, because it is clear that it is very much possible for us to move from where we are to the clean audit. I will request that at least you be clear to us, open to us as to the plans that we are going to execute in order for us to move there. One other issue that I want to raise as per the presentation, if my memory serves me well, HOD, you made mention of the outstanding GNT report. The outstanding GNT report, which is also affecting the subsidized routes. Perhaps you can clarify me on that one as to what is being done to remedy that situation, because we can't keep on, receiving report about outstanding GNT report. Moving on, one would also like to check with the department as to when will disciplinary actions be taken against employees who have not disclosed their financial interests. And as a follow-up to that one would also like to know what conflict of interest arose from this non-disclosure during the carrying out of responsibilities in the department. All in all, Honorable Chair, I think we need to applaud the department for the sterling work being done. Keep it up. Keep it up. I think we are on the right track. I thank you, Chair.
Is it mandatory that you have to speak? Okay. No, thanks very much, Honorable Chair, and honorable members, honorable MSC, and we encourage our support staff. Chair, I think let's firstly applaud the judicious stewardship of the department, which I think is demonstrated through the clean audit, and I'll put more emphasis on that because turning an organ of state into a living billboard of good governance, and the only person who can then, given a guarantee that things are in line, is the AG. But also I think Honorable Nenguda asked a question. During this time next year, are we able to say the same story? And Chair, I think I see an element, Choti, of complacency. You can't plan. After planning, you then give us some reasons why you did not achieve your target. These are not the targets that have been imposed on you, but it demonstrates a poor planning on your part, on your team, in terms of the strategic leadership that I think you have to undertake. I'm saying this because the simplest things on the goods and services, the cross-cutting picture of chronic expenditure, under-expenditure rather, is a cause for concern on the first quarter because it has a propensity or potential for you to postpone it because the goods and services, Honorable MEC, they are more of the tools and trade. And if our employees do not being afforded the necessary tools of trade, then we run a risk of exposing our officials to unnecessary. And this might lead to what you call the physical dumping, if we are unable to. And that physical dumping, that's where the supply chain management shortcuts will snowball into irregular expenditures and fruitless, or what you call the unwanted expenditure. And our officials will be, the AG will then, what action did you take? Our officials will be accused of prolificating, spending on public accounts, and we know the deep ramification and implications for the poor. But the issue of the non-compliance, Chair, is a matter of serious concern. It's mandatory and obligatory that they have to disclose. It's neither here nor there. We need the list and what are the consequence management that I think have been taken. I wanted also to take it back to where Honorable Baloi, not necessarily that I'm supporting his party, but but just to align with him that you put a target or an indicator that the key performance indicator that a number of road safety awareness interventions conducted. And you tease out the challenge of the shortage of the personnel in that district. But I think the plan, strategic interventions, does not talk to that. I thought if the problem is the shortage of the staff, you'll be telling us as the portfolio committee in our legislative oversight that you are filling some of the posts. That's the basic logic that you might find. I think there is a mismatch there that I think you need. That the person is retiring, to me is not convincing. What is it that he can do? Are you saying that when a person is retiring, if you were saying he has retired, I will understand, but the person is just sitting and saying next year I'm going on retirement. That's what I think you are telling us, which I think you have to work it. Also, the number of drunken driving operations conducted, your target is 1,000, you achieve the targets. To me, it's more of a malicious compliance because it means that you just sit there saying how many people were caught being drunk, and when it reaches 1,000, that is your target, you stop. The others you don't record. That's the impression that I think we get. We are not saying why. If it was underachievement, I will understand. But if it's exact, then it's more questionable. Sorry for that. But I think where I'm sitting, I think it's more of a malicious compliance, but what is intended for that target. Chair, there is a hypothetical questions that I wanted to put across for GAAL. Out of 18, you only manage to achieve 4. And as the portfolio committee, we must clap hands to say you are doing well. I don't think things are okay, Honorable MC. The question that I wanted to ask to the accounting authority, not the CEO, does Polokwane have an international airport? That's the hypothetical question that I wanted to ask, because in the aviation industry, we have what we call OTP. What is an OTP? Our OTP as a province, not Office of the Premier. But OTP, in terms, on-time performance, because that's the system that is being used in the industry to check the performance of our airport and our airlines. But also there are some other issues that you have to clarify, because you can just not go all out in the fishing expedition trying to get other airlines outside the country, like Flynias, Saudi Arabia and so forth. Because DICO has to be involved. South African Defence Force also has to be engaged in those arrangements. But I think it can be CEO that you are saying you are presenting and it doesn't have anything to do with the finances or the supply chain, because anything that you approve as a portfolio committee has a financial implications. And we are more interested. And the gloomy picture that we get at the fourth quarter, the lack of capacity in the supply chain unit, are they addressed now? Are we no longer going to experience those problems that I think we've been explaining to be told? Somebody introduced themselves as CFOs. What are they doing? Anytime, everything is on process, is underway. At what time are we going to be told that everything has been concluded? What is a game changer in that airport? That's the question that I wanted to ask, because to me, I think the airport is on a moribund state, if not comatose. And we need to improve. We need to improve and inject for solvency, the liquidity for that, and sustainability. I'm deliberately asking this question, Honorable Chair, because this is a 3D entity that has to be self-sufficient, but can't collect or generate revenue for that matter. And that's the worrying point. It's a going concern, I think, in terms of the accountability ecosystem that I think has to be attended to. Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair. I have a problem. You are very well, Mala audit number 1. But okay. Our kids who are fellas when I get it say. Okay. MEC, releboha ka mokgwa re bonang improvement in the department. Releboha le clean audit. There's an improvement, Raibona, in the department, and you and your staff are working hard. My issue would be on the road safety education, MEC. To say the road safety education must not only stay at the schools, but go out there to the communities, because it is not only school kids that are involved in accident, but also members of the community. We must find a way of educating our community about road safety. Like you've said, HOD, cars passing by through the villages and so on, and people will just walk into the road whereas the car is coming. So we still need a lot to do. We still have a lot to do when it comes to road safety. So we must intensify that program of teaching our people road safety. Another thing is, I don't know if you have a plan on educating these ones bus scholar transport, not necessarily the buses that are procured by government, but the minibus taxis that even, you see our kids overload. Every day they are carrying, every day they are carrying kids from one place to the other. And the minibus taxis are overloaded. The minibuses taxis are driving at a high speed, and okare there is no intervention from the department or whatever, or they find a way of still driving the kids with those overloaded taxis. And I think we should also not turn a blind eye to that, the issue of the minibus taxis. The other one to GAAL. There's an issue here of amount of revenue collected, and then you said the reason for the variance key, revenue enhancement project not operational. MEC, I'm disappointed. You cannot come and tell us that revenue enhancement project not operational. Who must operationalize it? I mean, CEO, who must operationalize it on your behalf? Because you said you've got this revenue enhancement strategy, but who must operationalize it? No, you know, there's something wrong. Maybe they will tell us why was it not operationalized and who must operationalize it, because it can be a reason that they have not collected the revenue. Thank you, Chairperson.
That we can see a light at the end of the tunnel. Like we always say, our work is oversight, but during that oversight, we'll be able to point out areas that you are excelling in, or areas that you are trying to improve on, because all of us are a team. You might be on that other side, we might be here. Ours is an oversight, effective and adequate too. But one area quite critical, HOD, that I'm worried about is the aging official MEC, Kobembe. Let's address that as a matter of urgency. It will then say, in his absence, the department can move. And we can reduce such a big, clean audit department to, I don't want to say a veteran, for a lack of a better word. Let's look at how do we come up with areas where it says if Honorable Chair is not available, Honorable Monama is available, can chair the committee. Just like that. It's very critical that we prepare, do not put all our eggs in one basket. And I'm glad Blowback Evapatage, did they pay all the money? It's all the money that is paid. Which municipalities left out now? It was Blowback and another one that were in serious debts that were not paid. Lepalale. Lepalale Magalakwena. Are they making plans of pay? You will just respond to that. If they are not, the same strategy that you used for Blowback, kindly do work on that, because clearly it's working. And mine, HOD, is the matter of targets that you put there that are beyond your control. Targets that says pedestrians that were bumped by cars. It's quite unfortunate, Honorable Moss, I think it's you that raised this issue. A target that says you must arrest a drunk driver. It's quite unfortunate, but let's say they are not drunk drivers. You are not going to attain these programs. We must look at an area, because sometimes it's going to make you fail terribly. Because if you say we'll stop 100 drunk drivers, let's say in that quarter there's no drunk driver at all, it means you would have failed to reach those targets. So if it's possible to put it at most minimum, for the fact that the department, you don't sit and not achieve because you could not stop drunk drivers, that drivers were not drunk. So let's look at that. I put it as all targets that are not directly linked to yourselves, but external, like external factors, your pedestrians, your drunk drivers, your stop and search, whatever the case might be, particularly on the trucks. Let's say you don't have road carnage, you don't have those big trucks going to Bulawayo. It means you'll not even reach any one target, because we have not stopped those trucks. You did not weigh those trucks. At that time, you had said we are going to stop maybe 40 trucks. Then it says you have underachieved. Do you see? Let's look at those targets that are beyond your control. For me, the department with that clean audit, it says we are working well as a department and as a portfolio committee. It's really giving us a peaceful night, but let's also make sure we maintain that, because overachievement, another one that you've received is people paid. What if people do not pay? So let's look at the pros and cons. Yes, they can pay, but if they do not pay, these are the mitigating factors. And with GAAL, the first quarter for me, for the very first time, MEC, thank you so much, that we are really looking, we are going somewhere. If you put targets and achieve, that's what we want. We want you to say, I will achieve 2, based on the fact that in the previous financial year, I achieved 3, in the previous financial 2. So you do not plan, Mama Bella, plan 10 when you know over years we've been achieving 2. That is wishful thinking. It's I think I could go Laura because it's unparliamentary, but it's so if you do get targets that you know are attainable, it will say for the first time when you are sitting here, you'll talk to say, no, we have 4, we have achieved 4. We have 2, we have achieved 2. Now that will make me sleep better at night for one CEO. I went to a portfolio committee and I told them what we have done as a team, because it's not only ourselves. That brings me now to the CFO. For the CFO, the previous year we have seen a lot of issues emanating from supply chain, which you are the head there. In one of the portfolio committee meetings, will not say the CEO must report, will not say the MEC must report, will not say the HOD must report, will say CFO. For the longest time we come here, we grill the 3 individuals. What have you been doing? Because it's about time we hold people responsible for their own actions. So now when you go back to the buildings of GAAL, whatever was not going correctly, go and put it in order. Because in one meeting, Manvi, wait a minute, CFO, please report. This is your report. So please, Mama Melanie, that's what we are going. And I'm glad you are here. MEC, we are very happy with Mama Melanie for respecting us as a committee and coming to the meeting, even if you are left with 2 weeks or 7 days. It really shows respect not only for us as a portfolio committee, but the people of this province of Limpopo. And I think it's worth noting that as a portfolio committee, we are really happy with your conduct. And plus, you are a woman, it's a plus. So CFO, take this message back. Now for me, when you plan 3, you achieve 3, you plan 3, you achieve 2, 1 with reasons of that are understandable. We are not going to come here and say, no, you rolled over projects of 2024, 25 to 25, 26, because no, we are not going to take that. You are going to tell us what's happening there in the walls of GAAL. Because we can bash the MEC, we can bash the HOD, we can bash the CEO, but it goes right in your laps, in your office. But today, ne, I can but today, hey, good work is really impeding on us to really punch serious holes. But there's an issue, MEC and CEO of GAAL. When we go to the House, everybody will be debating. GAAL has overspent with 10 billion. And I'm thinking, what is the budget of transport HOD? 3.9 billion. And we are told GAAL has overspent 10 billion, 16 billion. I said, no. If this thing, we don't get it right, we get the true reflection of what is happening. The province of Limpopo CFO will be sitting thinking, GAAL, you have unauthorizedly and wastefully spent 16 billion of the people of this province. Then it shocked me and the committee. For transport in itself, the budget is 3.9. How does GAAL as an entity overspend with 10 and 16 billion? I don't know if you know about that, CEO or HOD. Please speak to it so the people of Limpopo that are watching this meeting can be able to understand and you alleviate their fears. And Honorable MEC, those are the few questions that were raised, and some are clarity seeking, some is just to really thank you for the job well done, HOD and the team with the leadership of the MEC. You can take us through, MEC.
Thanks, Honorable Chairperson and the members of the Portfolio Committee. I will start where you ended about the issue of SCM, supply chain management. I'm sure in our last meeting, myself, the CEO and the HOD, we agreed that we must have a meeting with the CFO of GAAL, because some of the things we can't hold Sesima alone. He must come and tell us what is he doing. Not him only, all the sections that are not performing. We are going to call all the directors or the chief directors of all those sections for us to listen to them so that we can help them. Because they are seated somewhere saying the HOD is going to defend us or CEO is going to defend us. So for us to maintain this clean audit, that's what we agreed that we are going to start doing, starting from the next meeting that we are going to. Then I will allow my HOD and the CEO to continue with the other questions.
Thank you, MEC. Just quickly to respond to the issues. On the number of drunk driving, more details in terms of the stats, we can submit a separate report, Chair, just to outline the statistics, the successes on all those other issues. And the CFO will talk to the issue of municipalities. Now, I want to just clarify the issue of phased-in approach. The new contracts were awarded in March. There are routes that were not included before that we had included based on the study that we have done. When you put in a new route and you give it to an operator, they don't have the fleet as yet. So the phased-in approach is to allow them space to go and procure a new fleet for the routes that they did not know were coming to them. And gradually they will then start to operate those routes. We've given them a period to say, by this period we want 100%. Even GNT is a phased-in approach. That's why you see there are new buses that are coming in. There are still more coming. So, but in areas where we had expected them to operate 100%, we're already giving them penalties. The issue of illness and speed machines, I've already spoken to my team. It was poor planning. There's no excuse about it. It was poor planning from the director at the district, Vembe, to say you ought to have seen it, you ought to have acted or informed the HOD for intervention. And it's poor planning. There's no two ways about it. On the issue of the 2% target, we are aware the white paper says 7% by 2030, but currently we are on 2%. We are gradually increasing as the department. Next year we'll have 3, we go 4, up until by 2030 we can have 7% as per the white paper. The issue of the plan to maintain the clean audit, of course we are mindful that the only way it can be regressing. So we do have what we call a clean audit strategy team. We're clear about the unwanted expenditure, then we have a plan. Performance information, that's where there's a problem. Contract management, of course, APP targets, achievements, issues of consequence management, and just overall SCM prescripts adherence and compliance. We do have a team. There are areas where we know are challenging, and we are focusing on those. The repeat findings from AGSA, scope resolutions, and repeat findings from the AGSA. Those are the areas that we have a dedicated team that deals with all these things. But in executive management, we've made it each chief director has to ensure that targets are achieved. Problem. On the issue of GNT on buses, there would be areas where we're allowing phased-in approaches, I've indicated, but there are areas where already we're seeing new buses coming, but areas where they are not ferrying passengers and we're giving them penalties and we're not even begging down. On the non-disclosure, in terms of what we're doing, we've already meted consequence management to the first offenders. We've given them warning. Second offenders is last warning. Then those that are on the third one, we also have dealt with them accordingly. And on the conflict of interest that we're picking up from the e-disclosure, normally we'll assess the report. What we pick up there, then we take the reports to legal, to labor, they deal with it. Then we do what we call consequence management. We're also assisted by the Public Service Commission. They give us the report. They analyze the report. They then are able to point issues to us, and we continue to work on those. On the issue of planned targets not achieved and under expenditure, yes, I agree that I think as the department we need to do better and improve. On the drunk driving, Chair, we're talking about, we don't count people that we deal with. It's operations. Normally in a year we'll say we'll do 1,000 operations. We'll then distribute them to districts. Each district will be working on its own target. That is why when we collect all of them, they then meet the target. We give them according to the target. It will be, say, 1,000 divided by 5. What we do is, if a year ends and then we've done 1,200, that becomes our baseline for the next year, because we don't want to overachieve a lot. It's more like it's a setup that we must overachieve as if we want points for that. Once you overachieve, that becomes the target next year. So that's how we deal with it. So for us to be at achieving the target on the spot is because we would have taken an overall target, distribute it according to districts. Each district then has to deal with its own target. It's operations. An operation we can catch 100 drunk driving motorists. So we're counting operations. The issue of road safety education, we are dealing with both communities and schools at the same time. So it's not only schools, it's only that maybe we need to amplify on that in our report. And on the scholar transporters non-compliance, Chair, here we just have to improve our law enforcement. Once you are a scholar transporter, firstly you are a driver qualified because you have a license, then you know what needs to be done for your vehicle to be fit for purpose. It's just a pure issue of non-compliance. On speed, they know. Speed limits. On the issue of what is needed, they know. We impound them. A lot of them we impound. When you go to many other areas, we are doing impoundments. It's only that we are moving around just to ensure that we don't leave this thing spreading like that. The issue of targets beyond our control. If you look at some of our targets, especially in transport regulation, these are targets that are set by national, and they bring them to us through the influence of RTMC. So all what we need to do is to embrace the targets, put them into our APP, and we report at this level and also at national, especially when you look at issues of speed operations, all those other issues, because they've realized that those are the issues that can actually make an impact in our efforts to reduce our road fatalities by 50% by 2030. So actually those are the ones we are dealing with. But in the main, with us here, once we reach a target, once we overachieve, that becomes a baseline for the next year, so that we don't have a space for officials to say we have overachieved, and then we don't want that. I'm going to allow the acting CFO to talk to the municipalities quickly, few seconds and then the CEO will come in.
Thank you, HOD and Honorable Chairperson. On the municipalities, the ones that they were owing Blowback and Mokalakwena, they were able to pay their accrued revenue in the first quarter. So what we normally do when municipalities default, we have an engagement, a monthly meetings with them. And when this does not work, then we inform them that when they finish their face values, we are going to withhold those face value. So that is when they come to the party and make a payment. Maybe just to add on the plan to maintain a clean audit. As a department, we have developed an action plan where we have determined, we have identified the real root cause of our findings, and then we have come up with mitigation measures just to address those findings. And we also have an internal audit steering committee where we monitor the progress of our action plan on a monthly basis. And as finance, we are also having a proactive engagement with our assurance providers, which is internal audit and AGSA, just to make sure that the findings that they've identified, they do not become a material misstatement. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Just sorry for interjection. HOD, allow the CFO to say something to us with regards to what members are raising, with our discontent of how things are moving in your department. Just say something to the portfolio committee and the people of this province listening. Make your own undertaking and commitment before the CFO, before the CEO respond. No, not the department of the entity.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair. So yeah, with regard to the issues that have been raised, I think in the main, the supply chain issues in terms of capacity, I think we are addressing that. I think in line with our recruitment plan for the current financial year, we actually included one position in supply chain management, because I think the current capacity challenges that we've been having is that we only had about two resources in the section, one being an ACM manager and there was one who's an ACM officer. But again, there were also disciplinary issues regarding the other resource. And I think that's what the CEO Ila touched on, where there've been a disciplinary action taken. I think the hearing is at an advanced stage now. So we should be able to then sort out the issues. But I think with regard to the getting additional capacity, our recruitment plan was approved. So we'll be beefing up the department going forward. And I think as well with the interventions or mitigating plans that were actually brought in by the board as well. So in this kind of financial year, we actually have regular monitoring meetings in as far as the procurement plan is concerned. And I think we're also comforted that at least in the first quarter, we're actually able to then meet our APP target for the earmarked funding allocation that was given to us. So, and in line with our projections, we are of the view that we'll then perform much better in the current financial year than where we were previously. Because I think previously, in the previous financial year, we even had to then surrender almost about 37 million back to provincial treasury because of the challenges that we've had. But in this financial year, I think we do have proper plans in place. There are monitoring mechanisms that have been put in place, and going forward, we should be able to actually meet our target in terms of the allocation that we receive from the provincial treasury. So, Honorable Chair, but let me take this opportunity as well to then also on the issue of overspending by 10 billion, GAAL. Look, we obviously will need more information on that, but I think that cannot be true because our revenue, our total revenue in the previous financial year was just around 100 million or less than 100 million. Our operating expenditure were also around the same range. So 100 billion vis-a-vis 10 billion. So there's no way that we can't even spend the money that we don't even have. So 10 billion is just, I think maybe there was a miscommunication of some sort, But maybe if you get more information on that, so that we'll be able to then do a proper report on that. But in as far as I'm concerned, there's no way that girl who's overspent by 10 billion.
Okay.
It's not possible.
It was tabled in the House.
Mm.
Sit with the CFO and show him what we are discussing. It was tabled for more than 3 members of the Standing Committee of Public Accounts. I shared it with the Honorable MEC because we could not address it without having proper, you have been meeting with us. We don't want you to talk to us on top of your head. We want you to give us something in writing, something that we can refer back to. So, Dr. Pasha, please, with the CFO, arrange and ask Honorable Helm for that information. She is part of the people that table it in the House. So we are able to, as a portfolio committee, go to the House and discuss that notion. Because the people of Limpopo are sitting saying, these ones of GAAL have missing targets, but they are spending 100 billion. I was shocked, 10 billion, but we have to then deal with it. Dr. Pasha gave that report, send it to the HOD, copy CEO, so she's able to share it with them. CEO, you can come through.
I think out of what is elicited is a cause for concern. It can't be that we have a report as the portfolio committee submitted to us, and it's dismissed like that. What we are trying to say is that on the report, if we can get the authenticity of that report, which has some other unintended consequences on you, because the impression or the assertions that you are getting is that you are insulting the intelligence of the portfolio committee. That shouldn't be, because if you don't have facts, just say we'll investigate the matter. That's the least that you can say. But just to reduce it and infantilize it, as if we don't understand what we are doing, is something that, Chair, if we find it, we have no any other way as the portfolio committee than to occasion for disciplinary action against you. Unfortunately, that's how the law works. If it can be established that it's authentic, Honorable MEC, what the chairperson has said, because my thinking is that I don't want to say chairperson or Ajira, or the Tomela is dreaming. But he was extrapolating the data from the report, your own report that we got, unfortunately. I was just cautioning.
For dismissing.
Yeah, dismissing it like that, which is unfortunate.
Let's agree that the CFO would then withdraw the dismissal fund. Hence, I say all members from the MEC seated here, when we are here in engagement, I always say don't respond if you do not have adequate information. Maybe allow, waste that mic, give it to the CFO to withdraw the dismissive part, and we allow Dr. Pasha to give you that information that we're talking about, and you then submit it to us.
No, thank you, Honorable Chair, and my apologies for dismissing that. And I think, as I started earlier, I said I'm not aware if we get information so that we'll be able to then pen a proper response. But I think if I was dismissive, then my apology, and I withdraw.
Unconditional.
Unconditional.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm going to talk to 2 issues, and with your permission, I'll pass to our senior commercial manager, commercial services manager, to speak to marketing issues. One of the questions that were asked was, why did we remove the indicator that is related to our core business on number of flight movements? And the reason we did that is because we looked at the past 2 or 3 financial years, and we realized that we have actually never met that target. And when we did a diagnosis of the problem, we realized that there's a lot of external factors that are affecting this indicator. And there's a lot of work that we need to do to be able to achieve that indicator. And amongst other the reasons of external factors or work that needs to be done, in terms of flight movements, there's factors like demand generation, which relates to giving people reason to come to Polokwane, because people fly when there's a reason to go where they are flying to. And in our analysis, we realized that we need to collaborate with a lot of departments, business and the province, municipalities, in terms of working together to create or generate for people to come to Polokwane. So we set aside this year, let's spend the year doing that and working on generating demand. But one of the other things is price determination is done by airlines. So when we do talk to airlines to come and fly to Polokwane, they would be the ones that says this is what the ticket is going to cost. Now that is the one that is going to determine whether people are going to fly or drive. And that's another factor that does not sit in our control. There's issues around availability of fleet from the airlines and the size of aircraft. So we thought, because we don't have full control over this indicator, let us rather spend the year working on factors that we have control over so that we can then drive towards influencing the movement and the use of airlines. And then the other issue that was asked was, what is the game changer in terms of GAAL? And we are saying that even though we work on increasing passenger movement, that would never be enough. And the game changer for GAAL is movement of cargo. Where we are with this is we have advertised a project for Cargo Hub. We have evaluated, we have had presentations already, and we are looking to adjudicate for this project. CFO, I can't remember, I think on your plan it says the 29th of September. Once we have cargo in place, we will be able to bring more revenue than what we are bringing in terms of passenger movement. The other factors are related to questions relating to marketing, and I'm just going to pass it to Ms. Ramokgopa to respond.
Thank you, CEO. I was actually looking forward to answering the one about the aircraft movement, but she took it from me. So I'm going to talk about the overachievement of our activities that we do. The reason why we have overachieved is because every opportunity that comes through for us to go out there and do brand awareness because of where GAAL is coming from, we take advantage of that. That is highly influenced by the interdepartmental events that are happening, us going to stakeholders and participating in their events and exhibiting, just so that we can get an opportunity to sell to them also. Also with the community activities that are happening within our communities of all 5 districts, we always take up that opportunity and go there and make sure that we have an opportunity to engage with them at the lowest cost, because we don't have budget for marketing, so we take advantage of already initiatives that are already planned by other departments and community involvement, and we go there to sell ourselves. Thank you.
Ms. Ramokgopa, while you are still on your feet, we have a year talking about the billboards. Are they up?
The billboards are not up yet. We are at the moment waiting to evaluate and award for the person who's going to refurbish them. The challenge was that last year they were put on as a revenue generating, but they were not usable. When we tried to get somebody to start selling them, we realized that they are not yet usable because they needed refurbishment. They have been out of service for quite a while, but we are awarding that, and then they're going to start before end of this financial year.
In the second quarter, will we get billboards working in terms of marketing? I know this is a question of Honorable Mangwan. She talks about all the time in terms of marketing. Can you make a commitment here that in the second quarter when you address, we'll be talking a different language with regards to the billboards?
In the second quarter, which we are already in now, yes, we'll talk a different language. I'm not sure yet if they'll be running yet, but we would have already awarded the person that will be refurbishing them, and also the advertising that we are doing in other districts on other people's billboards. That one can be finalized.
Like we've said, in the next second quarter, we're going to do things differently. Everybody will be reporting on the work that they do. We are not going to hold the MEC responsible, the HOD, and the CEO. In areas where we need clarity, yourselves, as head of marketing, CFO, the other one that is busy with risk, you will be responding on your own selves. Thank you very much. You can give it back. Were you done, CEO?
Thank you.
You can return it to the MEC. They know. I think hence she's saying yes, that's why in other districts they're advertising. When we report, when you bring the second quarter, you're going to tell us something different. Luckily, we have seen achievable targets, MEC, things that we have not seen. At least it's a bit on our behalf. And Mama Welane, thank you very much for the support you give to the entity. That thing, I've said it, and I think I need to say it again. We went to the oversight there in MEC, oversight in the port and the intermodal. She was part of us. Both days, we slept over, even in the morning, she was there with us. I think it's worth noting, and also on behalf of the committee, we really thank you for respecting us when we call to understand or you are still a board member until the MEC takes out in the media statement new board of directors. MEC, any?
Thanks, HOD.
Administration,
Honorable Chairperson and your team, let me take this opportunity. Yes, we heard you. Things we are going to be on top of them starting from next week, because as Honorable Mnama is saying that for a second
quarter.
The second quarter is around the corner. So it's upon me and the HOD to make sure that all the things that were said here are done. And when we come and report again, we must not be told you didn't do 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why I was noting, he was noting, she was also noting. So I'm sure in the coming meeting, there will be something new or more changes will have been effected in all the things that we. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, honorable members. Team Transport led by the MEC. This is one of the few portfolio committee meetings that we are elated to form part of the oversight, because it says to us the advice that comes from Honorable Moss, Honorable Shai, Honorable Dunani, Honorable Nenguda, Honorable Moname, and Honorable Mankwan. You are heeding to that call, and it's really giving us comfort. And luckily, we are able to see where we are going. It says to us this exercise is not only MEC or for the matter of compliance, no. It's for us working together, making sure that transport, its entity GAAL, is able to find itself where it's supposed to be on behalf of the people of this province. With that being said, honorable members of the Portfolio Committee on Transport, it's always a pleasure. MEC, you note that this is the only committee that is always fully, it's a full house. Honorable Helm has a bit of issue. And thank you very much for timelessly making yourselves available to come here and play an adequate oversight on behalf of the people of this province that has elected us. And Honorable MEC and your team, hey, we are elated today. They say don't praise a fish for swimming, but there's sometimes when a dolphin jumps out of its own comfort zone, it gives us that show. We get very happy. This is one of those moments, and we are very happy. It definitely will come out that Pasha with a media statement of the Portfolio Committee with regards to the clean audit. It's something that we worth to celebrate. Our problem is the little challenges that we find is the one that finds itself in the public domain, but the achievements are underreported, and we are saying we're very happy and thank you for the clean audit. Maintain it. Let's hold it like that as a team to make sure that the seventh administration and ourselves as a oversight body, we do work together towards a common goal. And this brings us to the end of your meeting. May you have yourselves a blessed weekend. And whoever is going to the parties and funerals, may the good Lord bless you until we meet again. The meeting is officially